About pranams to everybody. Today is Saturday, 22nd of June, 2024, and we're going to continue with our Jaiva Dharma chapter 23. It's also Purnima today, hence the chrome dome, and it's Snan Yatra, Lord Jagannath Dev, and it's the Tirabhav, disappearance day of Mukunda Datta, and Sridhar Pandit today, so Kolavecha Sridhar Pandit. So we'll say a little bit about them, not much, but because you can see online different glorifications, but we'll say something just to invoke their mercy today. So we'll have a kirtan. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Oh Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari O Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari O Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai. Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari, Jaya Radha Madana Mohan Radha Madana Mohan Radhe, Radha Madana Mohan Radha Madana Mohan Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Oh Radhe, 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 Radhe. Jai Shri Shri Guru Garanga Ganhave Giridhari Radha Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai Vrishabhalanandini Vajeshwari Radharani Ki Jai Shri Nityananda Rai Ki Jai Shri Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai Surabhi Kunj Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astol Tarzara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarazara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarazara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarazara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Srila Gaura Kishodas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Saptam Goswami Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Jai Vaishnav Sabhabhoma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Srila Baladevi Dibhushan Gaudi Vedantaracharya Ki Jai Jai Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Treya Ki Jai Jai Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Shibata Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Baladas Raghunath Sat Goswami Prabhu's Ki Jai Arupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai Swarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Gaudapar Sada Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Siga Holsi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhar Shri Vasadi Shri Gauda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Antadvip Mayapur Simantadvip Gautandvip Madhyadvip Koladvip Ritudvip Janadvip Modandvip Rudradvip Atmaka Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopiko Govardhan Dwarasa Varmatmika Shri Brajamandal Ki Jai Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund Ganga Jamuna Devi Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shrimati Brinda Devi Maharani Ki Jai Shrimati Yogamaya Purnamasi Devi Maharani Ki Jai Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ki Jai Ketra Mandal Ki Jai Sadhava Vigna Vanasakari Shina Shingadev Bhagavan Ki Jai Bhakta Prabha Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai Charidham Ki Jai Chari Sampradaya Ki Jai Chari Acharya Ki Jai Akada Matraj Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai Shri Keshavji Gaudiya Mat Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Samagata Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gauda Premanandi Hari Hari Bol Aumagina timirandasya gyananjala shalakaya Chakshu unmilitam jina tasmai shri guruve namaha Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Taravaktaya Namo Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapitam Jina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Anapita Shri Surupe Taita Surupe Prema Surupe Sahaja Rupe Nijan Rupe Prabhu Ekarupe Tatana Rupe Swabila Surupe Anapita Chirim Chirat Guranavar Tinokalo Samarapaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundarata Dikatamba Sadipita Sadahradare Kandare Svedatu Vasachinandanaha Yam Prabhajantamana Petiam Apeti Krityam Dvaipaino Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putre Titam Mayatayo Tarabo Vinirustam Sarvabhutam Hridim Munimanatoshmi Bhaktiya vihina aparada lakshay Shiptascha karmani tarangamadye Kripa maitvam sharanam prapana Brinde namaste charanaravindjam Bhajami radham aravinda netram Smarami radham madhurashmitasyam Vadami radham karuna baradram Tato mamanasti katyana kapi Tavaivasmi najivami tvaivina Iti vignaya rate tvam nayamam jarantikam. I'm first of all offering millions and millions of Dandavat pranams unto the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Asto Tarasara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again millions of times unto the lotus feet of our beloved Nityalila Pravishta Om Asto Tarasara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And again, I'm offering my Dandavat pranams to Namo Bhakti Vinodaya, Satchitananda Namane, Gaura Shakti Swarupaya, Arupanuga Varayate, and to all our glorious, illustrious Rupanuga Guru Varga, and all the Vaishnava and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams to all of you. Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha, Kripa Sindhuvevacha, Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnave Namo Namaha. So today is Snan Yatra. It's the beginning of Lord Jagannath's principal festival of the Rath Yatra. I think it's on the 8th of July this year. So after this bathing ceremony today, the bathing takes place on the roof above the temple, and many devotees can actually see from other rooftops, and even from the bottom you can see something of the darshan, of the Abhishek, his bathing ceremony. And tonight, I think it's tonight that he wears the remarkable elephant dress. He only wears it once a year. Actually, all his dresses are only one time, and then they have a new dress every single day. And tonight, I think I'm correct, it's the very famous elephant dress, that picture there. Yeah. And of course, we know the pastime that Lord Jagannath makes the excuse of catching some chill, because now is the hot season, then he's being bathed outside, so he catches a chill for about 10-12 days where he's in seclusion and he's just eating and drinking very special selective medicinal preparations. And at this time his body is refurbished, and I think it's every 12 years he gets a new body completely. And there's a shellagram in the back of the principal. There are so many pastimes about Lord Jagannath. It goes on endlessly, actually. But yes, so then he's refurbished. So in preparation for the incredible Khat festival, the Rath Yatra festival, on the 8th of July. So Jagannath Dev ki jai, Baladev Subhadra ki jai. It's also the disappearance day of Mukunda Datta. And Mukunda Datta is the brother of Vasudev Datta. And in Krishna's pastime, Mukunda Datta is Madhu Kanta, and Vasudev Datta is Madhu Vrat. And they're both singers in Braj. Mukunda Datta would sing absolutely beautifully. He would sing so many verses to support Mahaprabhu's moods, especially during the Ras Leela pastime in Shiva Sangam, or in the Yoga Pit, Shiva Sangam, in Shiva Sangam, when and the Satprahara pastimes there, Mukunda Datta would be singing, and there's the famous pastime where Mahaprabhu would not give him a benediction, and the devotees were requesting, "Oh, why are you not blessing Mukunda with your mercy?" And he said, "I will not bless Mukunda in more than a crore of births." And Mukunda was standing outside behind the doors, and he heard Mahaprabhu saying this, and he became totally overjoyed at the prospect of getting Mahaprabhu's mercy after so many millions of births. So Mahaprabhu, it was relayed his reaction to this mood of Mahaprabhu. And when Mahaprabhu heard of Mukunda's ecstasy at getting the mercy even after millions and millions of births, he immediately called him in. But Mukunda had been, because he sang so beautifully, he would sing with many groups. So Mahaprabhu wanted to purify that discrepancy within him. So Mukunda Datta was in Puri all the occasions of the Rath Yatra festivals. The Rath Yatra festival that's just coming up, we spoke about, is really described beautifully by Srila Krishna's Kaviraj, and all the different parties of the devotees and the singers and the mridanga players. But Mukunda Datta really features prominently in that. So today is his disappearance day, and it's also the disappearance day of Srivas Pandit, who in Krishna Lila, he's one of the Dwadasa Gopals, and he's Kusumasava. He's the 12th Dwadasa Gopal of Nityananda Prabhu. And Mahaprabhu would bargain with him for his bananas and the banana leaves and they call them spaths. It's the cutting from the center of the banana that he would sell. So he had his small banana patch. You can go to his place, his kutia is just across in Simulyagram, just after the Chaitanya Mat. You go to the Jagannath temple, and it's just behind the Jagannath temple. There's a beautiful little kutia there, and this is where, and Mahaprabhu had many pastimes. He would come to his place after Naga Kirtan and drink from his iron pot and give so much kripa to Kolaveta. In Krishna Lila, Kolaveta Sridhar is actually Sudama Brahmana, the Sudama Brahmana who brought the chipped rice to Dwarkadish Krishna. So this pastime is there. So today we're remembering these remarkable personalities and begging for their mercy. Always the devotees are hungry, like anything, for the mercy of these great, great departed Vaishnavas. And certainly on the Tirubhav and Anubhav, because ultimately there's no difference. We're celebrating that personality, whether it's appearance day or disappearance day. And there is, without doubt, a window open from that personality in his transcendental place to shower some mercy down upon us all. And mercy is what certainly me and myself, and we are all in need of hungrily for mercy of these transcendental personalities. Shri Mukunda Datta ki jai, and Shri Sridhar Pandit ki jai, and Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki jai, Gaur Premanandi. So today we'll come to our Falshruti, and we're on to page 829. So we're into the beginning, first 5 verses. We'll sing together. Prithivite yatakata dharma name chale, Bhagavata kahe sava paripurna chale.
As indicated in Srimad Bhagavatam 112, all the philosophies on earth that are celebrated as dharma are utterly deceptive.
Even though we've read this hundreds of times now, from the very beginning, it's still such a a bomb, in a sense, when we read this verse, because all the principal purusarthas, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, which we grew up to think that these were the pillars of religiosity, now we're hearing they're utterly deceptive. So we have to go much deeper than the external aspect of religiosity, because now our focus is on Nitya Prem, out of the Naimitic into the Nitya Prem. So it's a huge quantum leap actually for the sadhak. Chale dharma chalikara satya dharma mati chaturvarga tyaji dara nitya prema gati.
One should completely abandon such deceptive dharmas and absorb his mind in true dharma. In other words, one should give up the fourfold goals of material life, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, and aspire solely for the ultimate destination of nitya prem.
So it's a process. It's a process of reorientating our consciousnesses, of coming out of one conception and embracing solidly within the heart the higher conception and sustaining that focus and vision. When we have realization of it, full realization, we should be able to just drop that misconception forever. Forever we drop it. We don't go back a little bit to it sometimes when it's convenient, but we drop it entirely. This transcendental consciousness is a place of where the sadhak is going to purify himself sufficiently to become qualified. But actually, the sadhak's purification is not the qualification. The only qualification ultimately is the enthusiasm to have that, is the greed, the lobha, the utsaha. This is actually the real qualification, the hunger, the greed. Even if we have no qualification materially whatsoever, but if we are determined. My Gurudev used to give the example of a dog at a sweet shop. He has no idea he's going to be given anything, but still he's just standing there looking at everyone, hungry, his tongue hanging out, waiting, determined. And they can stay all day. And at some point, Krishna will probably give them a sweet or some donut to lick on. But they'll, with that mood of determination and sustained determination. This is what we were talking about in our process of Harinam. Sustain means being able to maintain every day, every day, every day. A regularity. Regularity is the backbone of our practice, and Nishta to Guru is the backbone of our devotion. So these two things have to go on simultaneously. Amidva mimamsa brahme nijab jata buddhi nirvishesha brahm jnana ichita shuddhi.
Those who are deluded identify themselves with matter. That is their error. However, one cannot be purified of such delusion by endeavors for Nirvishesh Brahm Gyan.
Nirvishesh Brahm Gyan is the final material endeavor of imagining that being liberated from the bodily concept is the ultimate goal of life without activity. The soul has activity, his swarup. He has a specific service in that supreme realm. But if he cooks that swarup by wanting to merge into the Brahmajyoti, by this Nirvishesh Brahmgyan, just like Sannyasi Thakur initially in the first chapter, he came from that school. That was where he was coming from. Shukadev Goswami also apparently was coming from that school. But my Gurudev actually explains that this was just a lila, that he wasn't, Shukadev Goswami wasn't really coming from. He wasn't really a Brahmavad. But it looked as if he was coming from that impersonal place when he returned to his father's ashram on hearing those beautiful verses. Yeah, what is it? What's the verse? The Putana verse? Aho Bakiyam Stana Kalakutam, yes. So many verses he's hearing. What's that? Baharipitana Davara Babur Karaneo Karaneo. He's hearing these beautiful verses from Venu Gita, so he's returning to hear more from his father. But he wasn't ever actually a Brahmavad. So this Nirvishesh Brahm Gyan. And if we're deluded, identifying ourselves with matter, we put ourselves in the illusion. We have to know that. We're not placed in the illusion. We want to enjoy the illusion. So we have to become part of the illusion and to identify ourselves with matter. Otherwise, how can we enjoy matter? Unless we're thinking I'm matter, I won't be able to enjoy it. So that's my error. That's what he's saying. Those who are deluded identifies themselves with matter. That is their error. Ivichitrata hina vale nirvishesha hoy kala simutalya seya aprakrita noy.
The Mayavadi thinks Sri Krishna to be subject to the limitations of time, such as birth and death, and considers that he is not transcendental. Thus, he rejects Sri Bhagavan's Vichitrita, astonishing characteristics, paraphernalia, qualities, and Leela. Through this vicious attempt, he is left with the philosophy of Nirvishesh Brahm.
So most of the world are in this condition. Most of the world do not accept this Ivitrata, these beautiful pastimes of the Lord. When you explain to them how Krishna could lift a mountain in Vrindavan and give shelter to all the Brijbasis, they just chuckle. They even condemn Krishna to just having illicit relationships with all the milkmaids of Vrindavan. They're missing so much when the devotee, when the sadhak, he enters into these pastimes, when he lives in Vrindavan for some time, under the guidance of Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, all our Guru Varga, under the guidance of a Rasik Vaishnava, then these pastimes come alive in his heart, that the sadhak realizes the eternality of these pastimes. They're constant. So it becomes so relishable. And then drinking the beverage of Harinam simultaneously, receiving the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's only the mercy of Mahaprabhu that is giving us the qualification to enter into Vrindavan. Previous to Mahaprabhu, how many people could actually come into this Braj Ras conception or Bhakti Ras conception? We've said many times that Vaitaracharya wasn't preaching this, Nityananda wasn't preaching this. Nityananda Prabhu was always pointing in the direction of Mahaprabhu. Go there, that is your best prospect. So this is what his function is, to do like that, like Guru. Kanda Guru Mulu Tattva. This is Nityananda Prabhu. He's indicating, go there. And he's giving pure bhakti, Shuddha bhakti. But Brajaras, that is something distinct with Mahaprabhu, in Mahaprabhu's hand. And this Brajaras we can access through the Rasik Vaishnavas. For many of us who are influenced specifically by the teachings of my beloved Gurudev, which was so Rasik, which was so much focused on the glories of Sri Radhika. Because ultimately Sri Radhika, she is the queen of Braj. She is the potency. Krishna is controlled by Sri Radhika in Rasa Vichar. In Tattva Vichar, Krishna we can say is the supreme controller. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mataha prabham bhajante. That Krishna is the controller in Tattva Vichar. But in Rasa Vichar, Radhika, she will control. This in Swadhina Bhartika, when Radhika is in this is the highest mood of the beloved, when she controls her lover. Oh, decorate my hair, put an earring here, put the lac on my feet. What will my Sakis think if they come in now? Decorate me. So these beautiful pastimes are there for us to enter. And if you don't take shelter of these pastimes, if you're not guided by a Rasik Guru, Vaishnava, in this line, Bhakti Janardhan Maharaj, Jivan Janardhan Maharaj, he also had this current of Bhakti Ras. So all the Guru Varga, they all have that. Some will present it and others won't, because the Vaidhi Marg has to be strong simultaneously. If the Vaidhi Marg is not supported, people will not understand the Raganuga Marg. Raganuga doesn't reject Vaidhi. We've been through it already. In the 20th chapter, we went through, the 19th chapter, all the Angas of Vaidhi Marg. Very clearly, this is how beautiful this compilation is. It's walking us through all these stages. Take these chapters very seriously, one by one, and revise them again and again. See the step-by-step process from the 13th chapter in particular, when we begin the Dasmula, laying down the Praman, the Amnaya, and then coming through to Shakti Tattva, then Jiva Tattva, and then Abheda Tattva, and then what is Vaidhi Bhakti, and then what is Raganuga Bhakti, what is Bhav Bhakti, and now this splendid jewel of Nam Tattva, which we heard yesterday. All these verses completely together. Okay. Kanda Jnana Haya Dharma Ache Sunishchaya Prakriti Hoile Kabu Aprakritanaya.
Such base and contemptible gyan, which arises out of an attempt to dismember the divine form of Bhagavan, is only fit to be rejected. It is prakrita, materialistic, and should never be given credence as aprakrita dharma.
It will dismember. It's like an attempt to dismember Krishna by taking away his glorious pastimes. We've said so many times that the tattva is like the horse and the lila is like the rider on the horse. The lila is the most prominent. The lila is the heart. The lila is the place that's going to really capture us and carry us through day by day. It's going to carry our hearts. First of all, we need to become familiar with our heart. Sometimes we think our heart is attracted to various material things. My Gurudev used to say many times, it seems like the heart and mind are on one side and Guru, Krishna and Sadhu are on the other side. The heart wants to enjoy matter, it seems. That's just our repeated conditioning. We've been rolling around in that cycle of trying to exploit the material energy. We can't pull our heads out of it. This desire for pleasure, we're made of the desire for pleasure. We have to enjoy. And if we're not enjoying our seva, if we're not enjoying the sweetness of Harikatha, if we're not enjoying the sweetness of Shastra, the sweetness of Harinam, then we will look to the Jad Anand, the dull pleasure of this material world. That's like automatic practically. You can't help yourself. Why we do that? Due to offenses. And what is the offense? This vimukh. We're turning away from Krishna. Krishna means the most attractive personality. He's Lavanamrita. He's the origin of beauty, the very origin of beauty. We see so many beautiful objects, landscapes, etc. But Krishna himself is the embodiment of all beauty, the origin of all beauty. And we turn away. And when we turn away, automatically material desires must spring in the heart to bring us some type of pleasure, this Jad Anand, but that will keep us dull in this material world. So now we come to our chapter, Nam Tattva, and yesterday, wow, there's only 2 pages left. Okay, so yesterday we heard all these beautiful verses together. So in a day or so, I'll give you a recording of just the verses so you can listen to just the verses themselves and be inspired, because most inspiring. So we come to page 534, and we're 2/3 down. And we finished yesterday with Vijay asking the question, Prabhu, there are 9 or 64 different angas of sadhana. By chanting Sri Harinam is only one form. So we'll read from here. So Veera Gopal Prabhu will read again from here.
Vijay, Prabhu, there are 9 or 64 different angas of sadhana, but chanting Sri Harinam is only one form. If one is always practicing Nam, how can one have time for the other forms of sadhana?
Understand the question? If one's always chanting, how will one read? How will one do archan? How will one prepare bhoga for Thakurji? How will one go on Harinam? How will one do so many book distributions, so many different activities the devotees do if he's always chanting? How will he do that? This is the question. Good question.
Babaji, that is not difficult. The 64 different angas of bhakti are all contained within the ninefold process of bhakti.
Because bhakti ultimately is one. It's devotion to Krishna. It's the melting of the heart in attraction to Krishna. That's what it is. But there's other angas. approach it in many, many different ways according to our different proclivities, according to our different natures, etc. We say in the second verse of the Shikshastakam, Namnamakari Bahuda Nija Sharava Shaktis, many different paths, many different names of the Lord, according to each individual's unique taste.
The 9 angas of bhakti, whether in the worship Archana or Sri Murti,
Of Sri Murti,
the deity, or in Nirjana sadhan, can be performed anywhere.
So Nirjana sadhan is just exclusive sadhan, as opposed to Archan. Archan is the external worship. Bhajan is the internal worship. Actually, ideally, the two can go on simultaneously to some degree. Like we see all the Goswamis, Lokanath Das Goswami, he had his Binod Bihari Thakurji, and he would worship that with great affection. Bamsi Das Babaji had his Thakurji. Raghunath Das worshipped Gopinath, but I don't remember the pastimes of his Thakurji. He doesn't explain it. Rupa Goswami, he has Govindadev, and Sanatan Goswami, he has Madan Mohan. So all these personalities had their Thakurji, but they were doing their bhajan simultaneously.
Simply by the pure hearing, chanting and remembering of Sri Krishna Nam in front of Sri Murti, one has accomplished Nam Sadhan. Where there is no Murti, simply remember the Murti and perform sadhan to that Murti with the limbs of Navada, ninefold bhakti in the form of hearing and chanting Sri Nam, etc. One who is fortunate enough to have special ruchi or for Nam always performs Nam Kirtan. Thus, he automatically follows all the angas of bhakti. Sri Nam Kirtan is the most powerful of all the 9 processes of sadhan, shravanam, kirtanam, etc. During Kirtan, all the other angas are present, although they may not be evident.
Do you understand this clearly? The Kirtan is the principle. In the Brihat Bhagavatamrita, there's a part where there's a conversation, and it's presenting that Smaranam, remembrance, is actually the, because we have Shravanam, Kirtanam, and then culminating in Smaranam. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. But actually the principal practice, the sadhan, is Kirtan. Kirtan will invoke the remembrance. Kirtan is most powerful because Kirtan, whether it's loud or whether it's congregational, whether it's individual, however it is, it's a direct glorification of the Lord. It's direct worship. Krishna will hear that and reciprocate. And in the mind, in the consciousness, we're always chanting Hare Krishna. We want to become addicted to that pure vibration internally. It must always be resonating. It must always be reverberating in the consciousness all the time. And then we live in that world. Wherever we go, whatever we do, we're just hearing that kirtan. Govinda, Madhusudan, all the different names of the Lord. And especially Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So in order to become addicted to this, then we must seriously embrace the regularity of the chanting. Sankhya Purvarka Nama Gananatipi. We must do that. If that is neglected, this kirtan won't be invoked in the heart. We won't become sober. It's a sobering activity to chant for 4 or 5 hours, because that's only how long it takes actually ultimately to chant 64 rounds in a day. When you've practiced for some time, because the first 16 rounds, for example, personally takes me about 2 hours. The second 16 will be about 1 hour and 40 minutes. The third 16 will be just over 1 hour, and the final 16 will probably be less than 1 hour. The name, it speeds up our ability to hear and absorb it, because it speeds up everything within the consciousness chanting. Our minds become more attuned, more astute. They become clearer. We reach a higher vibration of cognizance in the world. We do. We don't have to waste our time messing around with lower grade activities. We can always reach to the higher vision in all of our activities. It has that ability because it speeds the whole consciousness. I tell you, you actually become like a Superman. We do. We become like Superman because the consciousness is really moving at an increased awareness speed. It can discern factors very quickly and assimilate them and know what is correct, what is not correct, what is correct, what is not. We're always going in the direction of Krishna, and he's always rolling out a carpet, guiding us, guiding us, guiding us. We're in touch, we're in tune. We've connected with transcendence. This is what will happen if we can regularly embrace this 4 or 5 or 6 hours a day chanting. There's nothing greater in this life than actually doing this. This will lead us to all. But simultaneously, I can remember watching my Gurudev sometimes. Sometimes my Gurudev would chant 1 or 2 lakhs on a long journey. But many times he would not even chant 1 round. On his Vyasa Puja day, for example, or Guru Purnima, he would wake in the morning and immediately he'd start to do his Guru Puja. As soon as that was complete, he would open his doors and thousands of people in Mathura would pour in and offer him so many gifts, and he would be giving neck beads and mantra and so on all morning up until midday, noon. Then he would take some prasad, then take a little rest, and then again in the afternoon he would start immediately afterwards until 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. And he'd do that for 2 days solidly. So where was his chanting of Hare Krishna during that time? Always in his mind, never stopped for a single second. The conception of Hare Krishna, meeting and separation with Krishna, is just resonating. It's there, it's fixed. If we have the opulence to actually sit and chant, that's wonderful. But if that opportunity is not there because of our direct seva, specifically to Guru and Sadhu and the Vaishnavas, that always takes precedence. It's never, oh, I can't do it, Prabhu, because I'm chanting. That's bogus. To reject some seva that's offered to us, this is not correct. The top priority is the seva, because there will come times when that seva is not being given to us, when there's not an opportunity for it, and then we can chant. Devotees usually travel a lot. It seems to be their habit to constantly be traveling. So during traveling periods, we can often chant copiously, but we need to practice it to get the taste, to get the platform, to get the foundation down.
Vijay, how is it possible to perform continuous Nam Sankirtan?
Okay, okay, it's going to be said for you.
Babaji, continuous Nam Kirtan means performing Kirtan of Sri Harinam at all times, while sitting, getting up, eating or working, except when sleeping.
But we see that the Goswamis even would dream. Even in their dreams they would be serving Radha and Krishna.
In Nam Sadhan, there is no prohibition regarding time, place, situation or cleanliness. That is, one may be in a pure or impure condition.
Yes, that means 24 hours a day one can chant.
Vijay, the mercy of Nam Bhagwan is unlimited, but we have no hope of becoming Vaishnavas until you give us your mercy and bestow upon us the power to perform Nam constantly.
It has to come. This path of Avaroha Panta, we've said so many times, this descending energy, this descending potency, ultimately descending from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is non-different from Radha and Krishna combined through the medium of Rupa, Sanatan, Raghunath Bhatta, Jiva Goswami, Gopal Bhatta, Raghunath Das, etc. All these personalities, Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, Krishna's Kaviraj, this mercy is coming to us. If we embrace our Guru Varga, if we remember our Guru Varga, 3 or 4 times a day, we can recite their pranam mantras and read about their activities, hear about them, embrace them into our hearts, love them. It's like every day, Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj, he's mandated practically for the whole world that we have to honor and celebrate the appearance and disappearance days. So if we're doing this 365 days of the year, we're covering a lot of personalities. So we're learning about all these different personalities, and there are so many scriptures and books describing the different personalities. So always hearing about these transcendental personalities will connect us fully with them. And the power, the Shakti within the holy name will quickly give us that solid connection.
Babaji, I have already explained that there are three kinds of Vaishnava, Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Satyaraja Khan that anyone who takes Krishna Nam is a Vaishnava. One who constantly takes Krishna Nam is a Madhyam Vaishnava. And the Uttam Vaishnava is he whose very sight makes Krishna Nam appear spontaneously in one's mouth. Since you sometimes take Krishna Nam with faith, you have already obtained the position of a Vaishnava.
So we should be confident that we already have come to that position of a Vaishnava. My Gurudev again would say regularly, don't remain on the Kanishta platform. Quickly come to the Madhyam. And he gave us many indications of what is the nature of a Madhyam. And in chapter 8, I think it is, it's described the Kanishta, Madhyam and Uttam very clearly.
Vijay, please tell us whatever else we should know about Shuddha Krishna Nam. Babaji, Shuddha Krishna Nam is Krishna Nam that has arisen through undivided bhakti resulting from full faith.
Undivided bhakti is very important. Every sentence of Bhakti Thakur is important. Undivided means you're not throwing a few oblations to Ganeshji or Durga Ma or anybody else, but you're completely fixed on your Ishtadev within Braj. Braje Tishtam Brajanuragi Anugami. That personality of Braj that I'm following. And for most of us, I think it would be Sri Radhika, is that personality that we are following in Braj. We are looking to her, not being distracted. Lord Jagannath Mahaprabhu would see as non-different to Brajendrananda and Shyam Sundar. He would never even look at Baladev and Subhadra. He would just see Shyam Sundar, Brajendrananda, when he took darshan of Jagannath playing his flute. This is all he would actually see. This is how it's described by the Acharyas. So there's no hesitation for the devotee to just embrace this Brajendranandan Shyam Sundar, because he is the highest conception of affection and love. And he's distributing it to the Brijbasis, and we can follow the Brijbasis' moods in Anugatya. We are Raganuga. We are following in the footsteps of those Ragatmikas. Those Ragatmikas are those spiritual personalities, Lalita, Vishakha, etc. And we're following Anuga, those personalities.
Other than that, the chanting of Sri Nam will be experienced as either Namabhas or Namaprad. Vijay, Prabhu, should we understand that Harinam is sadhya, the aim and purpose, or sadhana, the means? Babaji, when one takes Harinam in the course of sadhana bhakti, that Nam can be called sadhana. However, when the bhakta takes Harinam in the course of bhava bhakti or prema bhakti, that manifestation of Sri Harinam is sadhya or the aim and object of practice. The sadhaka's realization of the contraction or expansion of Sri Harinam will depend on his level of bhakti.
Okay, very clear. Very clear. That when you're chanting on a less mature stage, you will be just considering the various angas of Vaidhi Bhakti. That's what you'll be considering, isn't it? Practicing. But when you come closer to the stage of Bhav Bhakti, in your depth of appreciation and heart-melting mood towards the residents of Vrindavan, then that chanting will become the sadhya. You will actually have a little glimmer of your eternal form within the realm of Braj and your seva, your mood, because when the heart is melting in attraction, it has to melt in affection. The heart has become very hard in this material environment, just like the ice has melted, become hard. When the warm current comes of Guru Varga, then it melts that ice-like heart. When we hear those pastimes, if any of you listen to that recording of Prem Samput I put on the other day, especially the last part of that, where Radhika herself is sharing with Krishna directly the nature of her love for Krishna in front of Krishna. No one else could understand it except Krishna. So this pastime was conceived or was visualized by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, so that Radhika can give us all her mercy and explain to us the nature of that samput, that treasure chest, that locket of what is pure, what is her. When we hear her pure love for Krishna, that will begin to melt the sadhak's consciousness of attraction to Radhika and the immensity of the love between Radha and Krishna. And once we hear that a few times, why do we want to linger in this world? Why do we still want to make plans for our material self-sufficiency, our material absorptions, etc.? But of course, we're all on different levels and degrees of understanding. So each according to his own unique stage and path will understand this. As he said here, Naam will be called sadhan if it's in the course of sadhan bhakti. However, when the bhakta takes Harinam in the course of Bhav Bhakti or Prem Bhakti, that manifestation of Sri Harinam is Sadhya Vastu. Then it becomes the Sadhya, or the aim and object of practice. Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtana Smitya Kramana Rasanam Nisityoja. Rupa Goswami is saying in Upadeshamrita, the 8th verse, this is described as this the essence of all advice. This is the essence of all advice is in this 8th verse. Okay.
Vijay, is there a difference in the experience of Krishna Nam and Krishna Sarup?
Okay, because Babaji is so emphatic. No.
Babaji, no. There is no difference in the experience, but one should understand the confidential secret that Krishna Nam is more merciful than Krishna Sarup. Krishna Sarup form does not forgive whatever offense is made to him. But Krishna Nam forgives both offenses committed to the Sarup and offenses committed toward himself.
When we actually hear this, when we actually can even experience this, that Krishna has forgiven me. I said the other day these 3 principles that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati used to talk about, bhajan. The first was patience, remember?
Yes.
It's a very big thing because we have a long road to go. Often devotees become impatient. Oh, I've been chanting for 20 years now, the lights haven't gone on, I'm still struggling, I still have difficulties, etc. But still we have to practice patience. And then the second quality or stage, remember, was forgiveness. This forgiveness, because when we start to appreciate and realize how much Krishna forgives us, then we will cry. Surely. We will look at ourselves and realize how much we have deviated from his seva over lifetimes, and yet he's ready to forgive us. How can we not melt to consider that? And Shri Radhika is even more forgiving. So when we consider these things, then the heart will melt. Nam is melting the heart. what's that? Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma, Prem Suryavam Samvivak, Ruchi Bistija Mrishnu. This Mrishnu is the melting of the heart. This is what is pure bhakti. This is what is Shuddha bhakti. When the heart melts, this anger, frustration, greed, lust, desire for material objects, that's what melting means. It melts away. That hardness, that's the effect of the Mayic association. And the association comes, even for example, if you're watching a video, a movie, and you're getting immersed in the different characters of the movie, that's all completely material, isn't it? You're actually taking on the qualities of those, you're allowing those personalities to come into your living room, so to speak, and speak this Mayic language in front of you. It can be very debilitating for the sadhak if he has to, because what will happen the next morning, we should understand how it works. I'll tell you how it works. If you engage in something frivolous the night before, when you come in the morning to try and chant, your mind will be all over the place. It's a fact. But if before you take rest at night, you carefully read something very careful, or you chant some more, or you have some conversation about Radha and Krishna, and you sober the mind deliberately before you take rest, you try to, whatever activities you perform the day before, you're going to experience them the next day. You're going to get the effects of them the next day. It's a fact. It's how it works. If you come into clashes with so many people one day, then the next day your mind is going to be really disturbed by that. But if you can remain in a peaceful consciousness for most of the day, for example, the next day, it's an accumulation. It's a build-up. Just like a snowball accumulates. If it rolls down a hill, it gets bigger and bigger. So it's accumulating the sweet atmosphere of Krishna. It's a building of it. But if you keep on regularly neglecting and walking, or not neglecting, but just flirting with the Mayic energy, thinking, oh, I can just get away with this, I can get away with that. Yes, you can to a degree. You can get away with chanting 16 rounds a day. It's not going to take you very far, really. You understand? It's a beautiful process to see the accumulation, how it builds, because the following day, if we've really had a solid, good day of chanting and reading, associating, etc., perhaps distributing some books, some speaking to some people about Krishna, the next day you're going to have a much easier time in accessing transcendence by the chanting. That's exactly how it will be. But if you break it, especially if we become frivolous and break it, thinking that I can get some pleasure in this, as soon as we look for the pleasure in the material world, immediately we're vimukha, immediately we're turning away from Krishna, instantly. And therefore that will have an effect. And if we're regularly doing that, that will have an accumulation, just like conversely, if we regularly associate, it'll have a positive effect. And if we regularly do the opposite, it'll have a negative effect, an accumulation effect, a cumulative effect. Even in our dreams, we will see what happens. It goes right the way through us. It's right inside.
When you take Nam, you should understand that Nam aparats very clearly and try to avoid them.
That's exactly what we've just been saying. This is Nam aparad, when you're actually not taking. What is the 10th offense? To, after hearing so many instructions, how does it go exactly? After listening.
After knowing the glories of Nam, still we are not following.
Still we are not following, yes. After understanding so many truths about this matter, we still neglect it, we still reject it. That's the 10th offense. It's a very important offense. After understanding so many topics of this subject matter, still you neglect it. Incorrigible. The mind so much wants to enjoy matter. Why? An intelligent person has to ask himself, hey, wake up. Why are you trying to exploit this material energy like a fool? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati beat the mind with a broom 100 times. How do you beat the mind? You sit down and you very meticulously chant all the prayers to our Guru Varga. You pick out some beautiful bhajan and you can read carefully through the meaning of those bhajans. If you can sing and understand simultaneously, that's even higher and sweeter. But remembrance is going to be the fruit. Shravanam is hearing. Kirtan is the practice. Smaranam is the remembrance. Shravanam, Kirtan, Vishnu, Smaranam. These three.
When you take Nam, you should understand that Nama Pras very clearly and try to avoid them, because you cannot chant Shuddhanam until you stop committing offences. Exactly what you said. The next time you come, we will discuss Nama Prad. When Rajnath and Vijay Kumar had learnt about the glories of Nam and Nam Swarup Tattva, they took Sri Gurudev's foot dust and slowly returned to Bilva Pushkarini. Thus ends the 23rd chapter of Jaiva Dharma, entitled Prameya Nama Tattva.
So this chapter is all about tattva. That's why I want to take a compilation of just the verses for us to hear in a sequence of about perhaps 7 or 8 minutes or 10 minutes altogether. You can just listen to all the glorifications of Nam. It's so inspiring. When you hear that selected glorification, how can you not be inspired to chant, to take advantage? And then, of course, we have to reconcile all our material situation alongside. And that can be so simple. If our sincere desire is to serve Nam, Krishna will throw all the options on a plate very, very easily for us. There won't be any difficulty. If the sincerity is there, Krishna is just waiting to pull us. He's more hungry to bring us back than we're hungry to go there. And he's going to make all the required arrangements to bring us. He'll make it perfect. We simply have to desire it. That's all we have to do. We simply have to desire. Even the materialist knows about the power of desire. There was a book once called The Secret. I read a long time ago, Secret. And basically the secret is that whatever you desire, you can actually achieve ultimately if you desire it strongly enough. So we have to fine-tune our desire to, first of all, this Jaiva Dharma is creating that desire. It's giving us that complete, explicit, clear focus. Yes, what should I do with my life? And all of these chapters are bringing us to that. And it's a culmination with this Nam Tattva, because this is the practice. By the Nam Tattva, it puts all the other angas into perspective. Right? It's very, very beautiful, sublime. Jaiva Dharma ki jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Ananta Gauta Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Just considering this personality for a moment, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his generosity, his greatness of heart, he's walked us through all these processes. He's just described explicitly Nam Tattva. And now he's going to give us the description of the fall downs in achieving that Nam Tattva. What is Nama Aparad and what is Nama Bas? How generous hearted is this person? How immensely wonderful, affectionate he is. So when you meet somebody with such great affection, don't you want to reciprocate with that person? Isn't that the natural inclination? How can I reciprocate with that? We can reciprocate with Bhaktivinoda Thakur by honoring this Jaiva Dharma daily. And we can share this Jaiva Dharma with others to our capacity, however we're able to do that. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Go Premanandi, Vanshakalpa Tarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhu Vevacha, Patitanam Pavnivyo Vaishnava Namo.